Hello, welcome back to Off the Iron with Utah Hockey. I'm Rob.
And I'm Andre.
And we are coming off of the Beehive 2024 tournament. We came off really well, 3 wins and 1 overtime loss.
Yes. Boys played great. Played really well.
What did you mostly get out of that tournament? And then we can talk about what we got forward. But I just thought it was almost as good as you could get except for 4 wins. But the way the team looked, we just looked strong.
You know, I agree. And I think I made a reference to this before as far as going up against Montana State. We'd already seen them, right? But these boys, they came into that game as if it was our first game against them all season and played them hard. And, I think all in all, they had a lot of fun. That was the big thing, right? They knew it was a bunch of home games. They slept in their own beds. It was a tournament, had a tournament kind of feel to it around the boys. And they just had a lot of fun.
The fun part, the team dinner, we were looking forward to that. It took a month or 2 to plan that. But then the thing I pulled out of it, I was thinking of, Andre, is how many of our players got to play? The coach, we talked about that in the last episode. I didn't think about that. Our coach used our whole bench, the guys, and we looked strong from top to bottom.
I would agree. When you look at that and you see the guys that are in the stands that are not dressed, and then the number of them, and that the fact that coach was still able to put together a solid lineup was impressive.
So one of the things that we wanted to get in this podcast is be able to talk about who our conference is. So we're in the new conference, the Mountain West Collegiate Hockey League. We do have 10 teams. We've got Montana State, who we've run into, and Weber State. We knew about them. We're ranked number 3 right now out of 10, but we're strong number 3. Below us is Utah State, University of Providence, University of Montana, Boise State at 7, and then Utah Valley at 8, Montana Tech at 9, and then they final with Idaho State at 10. And those are 2 teams we get to see next year. We come back from Christmas break. But right now, what we got to get ready for this weekend is who?
Utah Valley, right?
No, Utah State.
Utah State, excuse me. I keep confusing them.
I know.
And these are 2 big games, right? Because Utah State is 2 points behind us in the standings, right? And we're only 2 points out of second place, right? So when you have 2 games against a team that's 2 points behind you, that's the definition of big games right there. Don't you think?
I do. I mean, me being from Texas, I had to go to the Dallas Stars against Colorado Avalanche, and we were neck and neck, and we got that win, go up by 2. Sorry, Rick Wiener, but we finally climbed up. But those head-to-head games are big. So as we get to play Utah State, and they're right behind us, that's where you really
play those games, right? When you play those games, those are really 4-point swings, if you think about it, right? Because when you're lined up with another team that's right next to you in the standings, either right above or right below, you got to think of that. And I know the coach will. You have to think about that's as a 4-point swing either way.
So I haven't looked up who all Montana State and Weber State have this year. I don't think we have them anymore on our schedule.
No, we don't. We front loaded it with those guys in the beginning of the season.
Yeah. So the teams that we ran into at the Beehive and we won, those were teams that we were either neck and neck or we lost to last year. So you can see the accomplishments that we've gained. I went and, I first started looking right at our goalies, and I wanted to see how did our goalies look. We didn't get a chance to see Ryan Winkleman play this last weekend, but I looked him up, and I was talking to his dad, and if I got my stats right, I think he started 3 games. I don't think he has any regulation losses. I don't know. You'd have to fact check me on that. But he was showing up, and so his save percentage is .89. What is that one of the stats, Andre, that you look at when you're evaluating a goalie?
Yeah, so when you look at a goalie, you look at 2 things, right? You look at save percentage, and then you look at GAA, goals against average. That one's okay, but if you're consistently winning games 7-5, that throws off your goals against average, but you're still winning, right? Because maybe you're getting nailed with 60 shots a game. So that's why save percentage, I believe, and then, I think a lot of people believe that's a more accurate representation. And you're looking at a 0.90 is where you want to be, right? Ryan's right there, 0.89. That's 0.90. So he's, for sure a stud,
And then we go into Jack Nowicki and Marcelo. Right now, Nowicki is showing 0.922 and Cello is 0.936. So very strong across all three goalies.
And for those of you that don't follow hockey or don't know what that 0.9, let's talk about that for a second. That just means obviously 90%. 0.9 is 90%. So that means 9 out of every 10 shots are saved, right? And so then you get down into the hundredths and the thousandths of a point, which really do make a difference, So again, with our guys at 0.89 and above, that's very strong goaltending. Very strong.
I think so. I mean, when you're a coach and you can pick any of those three goalies,
right?
You're a lucky coach, right?
Yeah.
We looked at. I wanted to go over to our goal scorers, and the thing I saw, Andre, is we didn't have any top 5 goal scorers, but yet we're ranked 3rd in our league. We've got the wins, and that just kind of already tells me balance.
Yes.
I mentioned earlier the watching NHL teams, and it's typically the teams that go further along in the playoffs. They have to have scoring from lines 3 and 4. You don't have the big scores sometimes, but you have that balance. And so your thoughts on our scoring?
Well, I think just to complement what you just said, when you look at our scorers and you look at, we're all there, the top 4 or 5 are all within 6 to 8 points, I think, of each other, if I remember correctly. You don't have one stud that stands out, right? So if you think about the balance of our scoring, everything from forwards to defense, and then kind of think back to what you and I were talking about in the last couple episodes about coach being able to play multiple players and dress full benches, even with guys injured, you can see how that kind of comes together, right? And so you got when you have really, really balanced scoring, what that means for you that when you watch the game, as a coach, you've coached, I coached, I played, you played. What that means is that coach going into late in the game, late in the season, late in the game, has a lot of choices, right? That, coach doesn't have to all of a sudden start line matching near the end of the third period and worried about making sure our first line is against their first line kind of thing.
Yes.
There's subtleties like that really, stand out to me as I analyze that.
Yeah, and you don't have to. I've seen it when we're playing. There's some they have to, and you and I even talk about in the stands. They're playing their first, second. They wear them down in third period. That's when you win the games.
Absolutely.
So our leading scorer, according to the ACHA website, we got Torrey, Beers, Jackson, Fine, and Indy is our top 5. But here's something that you and I haven't talked about yet. Number 6 on scoring for us is Jack Humi.
Yeah.
And when I see a defenseman in the top scoring, I mean, what I see is how patient he is with the puck. He's able to get it out of the zone. Now, he does have 2 goals, but it's his 7 assists.
Yes.
Whether they're first or second assist, he's making plays. His head's up. He's the quarterback back there. And as a defenseman getting in the top 6 in scoring, I think it says a lot also about his defense. The teams, when you're playing a guy like him, they're backing up because he's not making mistakes. And if he burns you, then it's a 5-on-4, even maybe a 4-on-3, right?
Yep.
So Here he is at number 6 on scoring. We have one of our newer players, Ethan Overman, is at number 8 defenseman.
Also defenseman, yes.
With 2 goals and 6 assists. Again, same compliments to him. Max Hovey, he's coming in at number 9. He's been hurt. He hasn't been playing as many games. He's had a upper body injury, as we like to say. Not going to say what it is, but he has an upper body injury. But when he gets going, we said that in the last, where we have to be. So going into the end of the year in playoffs, I think if I had my numbers right, Weber State was leading last year.
Yeah.
In the beginning, but then they kind of fell off. I don't know how deep their bench was. Don't quote me on that. But here we again are talking about how deep our bench is when you're missing Max Hovey, which, was in our top 5 last year scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is at number 9. So wait till he comes back after Christmas break. We've got Ben Wings. He has missed some games. Watch when he comes back. We have some other players, but just looking at all that we have and just a bunch of great guys there that we're still...
Well, and don't forget our power forward, Reed Pittman, okay? Reed Pittman's been out. Hopefully we see him this weekend. He'll get a couple games in, then he'll get a nice rest until the new year. But, you're looking at, and I know he's your kid, but I'm telling people on the that are listening, you're looking at a 6'4" forward that whether or not he puts pucks in net, you have to respect him in the way he plays in front of the net, the way he plays in the zone, in the slot, right? And even if I've watched him all last year, even if a guy like him, kid like him, doesn't touch the puck and maybe he doesn't get a goal or an assist, the fact that they have to respect him and where he goes on the ice opens the ice up for others. And he loves to cause havoc in front of the net, which is what you need. So, yeah, we've got some, we're in a good place with some guys coming back for sure.
Max Hovey is looking forward to him coming back. Here's 2 players I'm looking forward to turning it up also. Cole Turner and Evan Richards. Those 2 are other 2 big bodies to have out there that can mix it up. Donnie O'Shea, he will mix up. I'm trying to see if I see his penalty minutes. He's still up on penalty minutes, but when you see a player like him on penalty minutes, and also you look at Torrey doesn't have many, 23. O'Shea's got 69. That could have been a major or 2, but they get in there and mix it up. And when you're a team going up against Utah, you better know who's on the ice and what you're doing. And, and don't think these players don't know this guy will mix it up. Now, when we get into power plays, and there are some teams, I think Weber State's one that when they're behind, they try to poke at the bear and try to get us to get in the penalty box because they got a very good power play.
Agreed.
And we have to respect that and understand. But our guys from O'Shea will mix it up, all of them. I'm just looking at our lineup and who all we have that they're just, we got a lot of players that I'm looking forward to when we come back from Christmas. But these next 2 games are a big one. Utah State back-to-back a Saturday night, I believe.
Yeah, Andre? I think. Yeah. And I think the boys are going to be up for it. But like you said, and we talked about, these guys are right behind us in the standings, right?
Yeah.
So, these are the big games.
Well, it's been fun talking to you. I'll get this published up to our 15 fans or so that like to watch this about what do we have coming up. We got Utah State. We've got some players coming back after Christmas break. We're holding very well at where we are. I'm very pleased. Our coaches are doing a great job, and our players also staying with the system. I've just been good. There's I'll try to learn how to put little links down here. I'm been learning that for I call it UniversityUtahHockey.com, and then you also mentioned
SkatingUtes.com.
SkatingUtes.com. And so with that said, we're hitting up on our 15-minute mark, but it's always great to talk to you about hockey. I'm looking forward to seeing Andre back out there and a lot of these other players as well. So, we'll talk to you here on the game Friday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Have a good one.
Have a great day.